Okay, all of you see the question paper. So now we are going to discuss the previous problems they asked in previous G-Mains question papers in current electricity. Okay, so you see the 8th problem. Here the current I1 in ampere flowing through 1 ohm resistor in the following circuit. That means in the following circuit, you see the circuit, there are two 1 ohm resistors are there. Through any one of the excuse me, through any one of the 1 ohm resistors, what is the current passing through them? Because both you will get same only. That's why what is the current passing through any one of the 1 ohm resistors we have to find. Okay, so I think you have seen the question. Now look at the board, all of you. So 8th problem, it is 2020. In 2020 paper it is there. So here there are different resistors are connected like this. Here you see, here resistors are connected like this. And this across this resistance, a cell having certain EMF is fixed. Here the EMF of the cell is equal to 1 volt, and this resistance is 2 ohm. This is 1 ohm. This is 1 ohm, and here it is 2 ohm. So what is the current passing through 1 ohm resistance they asked? Here the cell supply, suppose say I current. This I current when reaches the junction here, divide into two parts, through this part through this part. This is say I1, this is I2. Okay, here the current passing through cell is the main current. Okay, that main current when reaches the junction, divide into two parts. Okay, I1 through this resistance and I2 through this resistance. This I2 when reaches the junction here, again it is divided into two parts. As these are the two equal resistances, definitely this current will be divided into two equal parts, I2 by 2. So this is also I2 by 2, and this I2 by 2, I2 by 2 combined together, and it is converted into I2. So now you see here these are the junctions A and B. Across A and B, as the cell is connected, the potential difference across A and B is equal to EMF of the cell only, no, because it has no internal resistance. The internal resistance of the cell is not given. When internal resistance is not there, definitely as the two ends of this resistance are connected across the cell, whatever the EMF of the cell, that is the potential difference across AB, that is equal to EMF of the cell, which is equal to 1 volt. As this combination of these two parts, C and D, that is also connected across AB only. Whatever the potential difference across AB, that is the potential difference across CD. That's why the potential difference across CD is equal to this 1 volt. Okay, now across CD, potential difference is known. Next, across CD, there are effective of these two resistances is equal to 1 by 2, no? Because 2 equal resistances are connected in parallel like this. What is the effective resistance means? R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. R, as these two are the equal resistances, then effective resistance when they are connected in parallel is R by 2, no? So this is R by 2 means 1 by 2. So the effective resistance here is 1 by 2. Here it is 2 ohm. So in between C and D, in between C and D, potential difference across C and D is equal to say V, which is equal to 1 volt. Okay, potential difference across C and D is equal to 1 volt, you know. Here this resistance, what is this resistance? Here 1 ohm, they are in parallel. So effective resistance is equal to 1 into 1 by 1 plus 1. That means 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 ohm. And this resistance is 2 ohm. Here potential difference across this one is known. So what is the current through this one? Current through this series combination of this one and this one is I2. So what is I2? I2 is equal to applied voltage V by total resistance in this combination. Total resistance in this combination means 1 by 2 plus 2, no? That is equal to V means 1 volt by 5 by 2 means into 2. This is equal to 0.4 amperes, no? This is the current I2. Here this current I2, as these two are equal resistances, this current I2 is divided into two equal parts, no? That's why current through 1 ohm resistance, current through 1 ohm resistance is equal to I2 by 2, that is equal to 0.4 by 2. So 0.2 ampere. This is the answer. So 0.2 ampere is the current through this 1 ohm resistance, this one or this one. Suppose if these two are different resistances, how we can find? If these two are different resistances, in such case, how we can calculate? Here you see current through this series combination, already you'll get like this. Okay, then that I2 current divided into two parts. Okay, this is say I3 and it is say I4. As these two are in parallel, effect the potential difference across this resistance and this resistance both are same, no? In such case, V is equal to IR. In this formula, V is same across these two because they are parallel. That's why current through each resistance is inversely proportional to resistance, no? So I1, this I3 I4, I3 by I4 is equal to R4 by R3. So R4 by R3 means this by this. Then you will get the I3 I4 ratio. Currents passing through this one and current passing through this one. The ratio between them you will get. Okay, if you know the ratio between the currents here, then I3 is equal to, we can calculate, no? Similarly, I4 can be calculated, no? In this way, we can calculate if resistance are different. As the resistance are equal, the total current I2 will be divided into two equal parts and combined together and converted into I2. Okay, so this is the answer for this problem. This is the answer. Okay. Next. Point 0.25. Point 2, no? What about Darpan Chaudhary? What is the answer? What is the answer? So 0.2 ampere is the answer. You see, here you see 0.2 ampere. Okay. Next you see second problem. In building, there are 15 bulbs of 45 watt. There are 15 bulbs of 45 watt, 15 bulbs of 100 watt, and 15 small fans of 10 watt each, and 2 heaters of 1 kilowatt. Okay, the voltage of electric main is 220 volt. The minimum fuse capacity rated value of the building will be dash. Minimum fuse capacity means here answer is given in terms of current. That's why what is the maximum current that can be passed through the fuse wire? That is the minimum fuse capacity. Okay, so here to find the minimum fuse capacity means maximum current through the external circuit. That will be the minimum current that can be passed through the fuse wire. So we had to find the minimum current through the circuit. To find the minimum current, how we can find? You are given already 15 bulbs and their rated voltage are given. Bulbs and their rated voltage are given. I think you have seen the question. Now look at the board, all of you. All of you look at the board. Okay. All of you look at the board. Here 15 bulbs of 45 watt. Here all I think you know, in our household supply, all devices in the house are connected in parallel only. All are connected in parallel only. When two components or when two bulbs having powers P1, P2 are switched on, then what is the power consumption? Means as they are in parallel, power consumption is equal to P1 plus P2. Okay, similarly here, total power consumption, total power P is equal to, you see, 15 bulbs each of 45 watt. That means total power consumed by 15 bulbs is equal to 15 into 45 watt plus 15 bulbs of 100 watt. That means 15 into 100 watt plus 15 small fans of 10 watt. That means 15 into 10 watt plus 2 heater coils. Each is having what is 1 kilowatt. That means 2 into 1 kilowatt means 1000 watt, because we have substituted everything in SI system. That means watt, but it is given in kilowatt. That's why you convert them into watt and you substitute here. So this is the total power consumed by all the devices in the circuit. Total power consumed by all the devices. So you simplify them here in this problem. You simplify them. I think you will get here, when you add all of them, then approximately you will get 4325. I think you will get 4325. That much what is the total power consumption. So what is the current passing through the fuse wire? So because of this power consumption, whatever the current supplied by the main, that will pass it through these all devices. That is only the current passing through fuse wire also. That's why the minimum current passing through fuse wire is equal to what is the relation between, already the source voltage V is given. Source voltage is 220 volt is given. How we can write power? Power P is equal to V into I, no? Therefore I is equal to P by V. Therefore this is equal to 4325 by V. V means 220. Okay, therefore you simplify them, approximately you will get 20. Approximately, actually you see 2 times gives what? 2 times gives 440. 440 means approximately it is there. So answer is answer is nearer to 20, nearer to 9 here. Actually 2 times means 440. Suppose if it is 4400, then you will get 20. But here it is a little bit less. That's why definitely nearer to 20 you will get. But nearer to 20 means 15, 25, 10 is given. That's why it is definitely equal to 20 amperes. It is the minimum fuse capacity or minimum current that can be passed through the fuse wire is equal to, okay, 19.8 you are getting. Okay, right. Here actually you will get 19.8 ampere. So approximately it is equal to 20 ampere. Okay. Pawan, sorry, Shankar, P. Shankar. Okay, 19.8. So 19.8 ampere you will get. Okay. Next, another problem. You see, 25th problem. All of you read the 25th problem. So 25th problem. The balancing length for a cell is 560 centimeter in a potentiometer experiment. When an external resistance 10 ohm is connected in parallel to the cell. So the balancing length for a cell is 560 centimeter means when the cell is connected in the secondary circuit, then balancing length is given. That balancing length, when cell is connected in the secondary circuit, balancing length is 560 centimeter. When an external resistance R is equal to 10 ohm that is connected across the cell or shunted to the cell. When an external resistance capital R that is equal to 10 ohm which is shunted across the cell in the secondary circuit or connected parallel across the cell in the secondary circuit, then the balancing length changes by balance length L2 is equal to changes by 60 centimeter. When you connect the external resistance parallel to the cell in the secondary circuit, is the balance length decrease or increase? Okay, I think you have seen. Okay, first you read the problem. The balance length changes by 60 centimeter. If the internal resistance of the cell is n by 10, then whatever the n value? That is the question they asked. Okay, now all of you look at the board. So when external resistance is connected in parallel with the cell in the secondary circuit, is the balance length decrease or increase? Anybody else? Here actually, this is the primary circuit, no? It is the primary circuit. Here the secondary circuit is this one. Okay. You see, whenever no cell is connected here, when cell is connected in the secondary circuit, balance length is L1. When an external resistance is shunted or connected parallel to this cell, then balance length is L2. That is given. Okay, then what is the internal resistance of the cell? R2 is equal to question mark. Here you see, in the secondary circuit across the cell, when no resistance is connected, then whenever the balancing point is obtained, at that time no current passing through this one, no current passing through this circuit. In such case, the potential difference between the two terminals of the cell is equal to EMF of the cell only. For that EMF of the cell, balance length is L1. Okay, next, when external resistance is connected in parallel, whenever no current passing through this circuit here, this circuit is closed. That's why current will pass like this. As the current passing through this closed circuit, then potential difference between the two terminals of the cell is not equal to EMF. It is less than EMF. Whenever it is less than EMF, that is called terminal voltage. That terminal voltage across the cell is equal to potential difference across the resistance. That is less than the EMF of the cell. Whenever the terminal voltage is less, balance length is also less. So the balance length changes by 60 centimeters given. That's why the balance length becomes 560 minus 60. That's why actually it decreases, no? That's why decrease by 60. So 500 centimeters is the balance length. Then what is the internal resistance? Smaller. What is the formula for internal resistance in this case? What is the internal resistance in this case? If you are having idea about this formula, directly we can write R is equal to Kepler into L1 minus L2 by L2. This is the formula. Or if you are not getting this, if you are not getting idea about this formula, how we can do? At first, no external resistance is connected across the cell. Then the EMF of the cell E, because for this EMF of the cell, balance length is L1. That's why EMF of the cell in the secondary circuit is directly proportional to balancing length. Whenever external resistance is connected, then here internal resistance of the cell is there, no, smaller. So when external resistance is connected parallel to this one, then the potential difference between the two terminals of the cell is equal to potential difference across the resistance, that is say V. V is directly proportional to the balance length L2. Then you divide these two. E by V is equal to L1 by L2. Okay, what about V? E by V means, you see, V is equal to IR, no? I means, V means potential difference between the two terminals of the cell or potential difference across the resistance. That is equal to current passing through the circuit I into I means this is a I into resistance R. What about I? Current passing through this closed circuit only, because whenever the balancing point is obtained, no external current passing through this circuit. No current here. Only current will pass like this. So I means total EMF in the circuit by total resistance in the circuit means Kepler plus smaller, no, into Kepler. So from this, E by V is equal to, therefore from the diagram, from this equation, E by V, how we can write? E by V is equal to L1 by L2. That is equal to, E by V means, from this diagram equation, E by V is equal to Kepler plus small r by Kepler, no? Just you do cross multiplication. E by V is equal to R plus R by Kepler. So R plus R by Kepler. Therefore, we need smaller. Do cross multiplication. R L1 into R. R1 is equal to R L2 plus R into L2. Okay, small r L2 is equal to, you bring this R L2 to left and you take R common. R of L1 minus L2. R small r is equal to Kepler into L1 minus L2 by L2. In this way you have to do. If you know the formula directly, then we can substitute here only. Then we substitute. R means 10 ohm into L1 means 560 minus L2 means 500 by 500. Okay, therefore small r is equal to, simplification gives 12 by 10. Simplification gives 12 by 10 ohm. It is the internal resistance of the cell. But answer is given N by 10 ohm. N, therefore N is equal to how much? N is equal to 12. So this can be written as 0012.00. So this is the N value, because it is asked in integer. Okay. So this is the answer, right? Next. Next you see 11th problem. All of you read the 11th problem. All of you read the 11th problem. Okay. The length of the potentiometer wire is 1200 centimeter and it carries a current of 60 milliampere. For a cell of EMF 5 volt and internal resistance 10 ohm, the null point is obtained. Null point on it is found to be 1000 centimeter. The resistance of whole wire is dash. The length of the potentiometer wire is given as 1200 centimeter. Okay, and that potentiometer wire carries a current of, that means current passing through potentiometer is equal to 60 milliampere. Here they asked what is the resistance of the whole wire, means what is the resistance of the potentiometer wire, that is the question mark they asked. Okay, for that, for one information is given. For a cell of EMF 5 volt, that means it is in secondary circuit. The internal resistance EMF of the cell in the secondary circuit E is equal to 5 volt and internal resistance of the cell is equal to 20 ohm. Null point is found to be, null point L is equal to 1000 centimeter. That means 1000 centimeter means, of course, this is also given centimeter only. The resistance of the whole wire RP is equal to question mark. Okay. In the secondary circuit, EMF of the cell is this one. Okay. And balancing length is this one. Then what is the potential drop per unit length of the potentiometer wire? Because whenever for the given cell, whenever it is balanced, then potential drop across the two terminals of the cell is equal to potential drop across the balancing length. Suppose the potential drop per unit length of the potentiometer wire is say lambda. Potential drop per unit length, that is called potential gradient. Potential drop per unit length is called potential gradient or potential gradient. Potential gradient, say rho, that is equal to potential drop across the potentiometer, potential drop across the balance length, that is equal to E, you write E by balance length L. Actually, suppose the balance length obtained is this one. Across this balance length, the potential drop is equal to the potential difference between the two terminals of the cell when balancing point is obtained. అంటే మనకి ఇక్కడ బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ పాయింట్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఈ సెల్ యొక్క రెండు టెర్మినల్స్ మధ్య పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఎంత అయితే ఉంటుందో అక్రాస్ ద బ్యాలెన్స్ లెంత్ కూడా పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ అంతే ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ సెల్ యొక్క ఈఎంఎఫ్ ఈ కాబట్టి ఈ పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఇక్కడ ఉన్నప్పుడు బ్యాలెన్స్ లెంత్ ఎల్ వచ్చింది. దెన్ పొటెన్షియల్ డ్రాప్ పర్ యూనిట్ లెంత్ ఆఫ్ ది పొటెన్షియోమీటర్ వైర్ ఎంత? ఇక్కడ బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ పాయింట్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఎంత ఉంది, ఇక్కడ కూడా అదే ఉంటుంది. అంటే ఇంత లెంత్ వెంబడి పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఈ, బ్యాలెన్స్ లెంత్ ఎల్. పర్ యూనిట్ లెంత్ వాట్ ఇస్ ద పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్? పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ మీన్స్ దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ పొటెన్షియల్ గ్రేడియంట్, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ E by L. E means 5 by L means you can write 10 meter, no? So you write 10 meter. So 1/2 volt per meter. This is the potential gradient. Here potential gradient is same at each and every point of the potentiometer wire. Therefore, potential gradient, that is say VP, potential gradient rho is equal to potential drop across the potentiometer wire. Potential gradient is equal to potential drop across the potentiometer wire by balancing length. This is equal to potential drop across the potentiometer wire means current passing through potentiometer wire into resistance of the potentiometer wire by total length of the potentiometer wire. Here rho is same everywhere. This is equal to rho means potential gradient, that is equal to 1/2. Now you substitute IP is equal to 60 milliampere is given, 60 into 10⁻³ into resistance of the potentiometer wire we have to find. L means that is equal to 12 meter, no? Because we have substituted everything in SI system. That's why you write 12 is equal to 1/2. 12 5s are. Okay. Therefore, RP is equal to 1/10⁻². You will get. So 100 ohm, no? Yeah. So resistance of the potentiometer wire is equal to 100 ohm. You will get. This is the answer. Resistance of the potentiometer wire is 100 ohm. Okay. Resistance of the potentiometer wire is 100 ohm. Actually, here length of the potentiometer wire is given. Current passing through potentiometer wire is given. What is the resistance of the potentiometer wire? They asked. In the secondary circuit, when cell having EMF 5 volt is connected with internal resistance 20 ohm, the balance length is obtained as 1000 centimeter, means 10 meter, no? Now, that means you see, for this here, whenever the balance length is obtained, at the time, the potential drop across the balance length is equal to potential difference between the two terminals of the cell. As no external resistance is connected here, the potential difference between the two terminals of the cell is equal to EMF of the cell only. So for this EMF, the potential difference across this balance length, both are same. Okay, that balance length is L. That means the potential difference across the balance length is equal to EMF of the cell E. So for this potential difference E, balance length is L. Then what is the potential difference per unit length of the potentiometer wire? That is called potential gradient. That is constant at every point in the potentiometer wire. That is the principle of working potentiometer also. That's why potential gradient is equal to E by L. That is equal to E means 5 by L means in SI system it is 10 meter. So 1/2 volt per meter. That is the potential gradient. But potential gradient across the potentiometer wire already by this method we got. But potential drop across the potentiometer wire is equal to potential drop per unit length of the potentiometer wire. That means rho. that is called potential gradient, is equal to potential drop across a potentiometer wire by length of the potentiometer wire L. It is also potential gradient only, but rho is equal to V got. Of course, Vp can be written as current passing through potentiometer wire into resistance of the potentiometer wire by L. That is equal to, we got 1 by 2, no, 1 by 2. Here Ip is given, L is given. If you substitute here, then Rp is equal to, we got 100 ohm. In this way, we can find the resistance of the potentiometer wire. Okay. Next. Next, we see 23rd problem. All of you see 23rd problem. Okay, 23rd problem. 4 resistances 15 ohm, 12 ohm, 4 ohm, and 10 ohm, respectively, in cyclic order to form a Wheatstone bridge network. So here, by means of 4 resistances, a Wheatstone bridge is constructed like this. These all resistance are taken in cyclic order. That means 15 ohm, 12 ohm, cyclic order. That is important. Excuse me. 4 ohm, and it is 10 ohm. Okay. Now, the resistance that is to be connected in parallel with the resistance 10 ohm to balance the network. Actually, directly, if you here, is it balanced or not? In order to find them, P by Q is equal to R by S. That must be followed. But it is here, P by Q is not equal to R by S. That's why it is unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. To balance this Wheatstone bridge, what is the resistance to be connected in parallel with the 10 ohm resistance? That is how much? Or what is the resistance to be shunted across 10 ohm to balance the bridge? That is a question mark. Whenever resistance is connected in parallel with the resistance here, then if the bridge is balanced, then P by Q is equal to R. R means at the place of this R, what is the effective resistance? R into X by R plus X. This is the resistance in this gap by yes, substitute the data. P means 15 by Q means 12. R means 10 into X by 10 plus X by S means 4. From this, you calculate X value. Then if you simplify them, you will get 10. 10 ohm resistance to be shunted across this one to balance the Wheatstone bridge. Because if it is 10, then it becomes 5. 5 by 4. Here you see 15 by 12 means 5 by 4 only, no? 3 5s are, 3 4s are. That's why 5 by 4. So this is the answer. So this is the answer. Okay. So what is the resistance to be shunted across 10 ohm to balance the bridge, they asked. Okay, whenever X resistance is connected across this 10 ohm, then if the bridge is balanced, then P by Q is equal to R by S. R means at the place of R, these two resistances are in parallel. That's why Rx by R plus X is the effective resistance in this gap by this resistance S. So if substitute the data, then we got X is equal to 10 ohm. Okay. Next. Yeah, X is equal to 10. Okay, next one. Next, you see 24th problem. Next to very, very important 24th problem. The series all of you read the problem. The series combination of two batteries, both of the same EMF 10 volt, but different internal resistances 20 ohm and 5 ohm. So there are two cells having same EMF two cells having same EMF. E1 is equal to 10 volt. E2 is also equal to 10 volt. But internal resistance R1 is equal to 20 ohm and R2 is equal to 5 ohm. That is, they are connected in parallel. Sorry, two series combination of two batteries, both of them having same EMF 10 volt but different internal resistances 20 and 5 ohm is connected to the parallel combination of two resistances. So this combination is connected across the parallel combination of two resistances as in the diagram. Okay, parallel combination of two resistances 30 ohm and R ohm. The voltage difference across the battery of internal resistance 20 ohm is 0. So here potential difference across this battery having internal resistance 20 ohm is equal to 0. Then what is the resistance R? This R is equal to question mark. I think you have understood the problem. First of all, for these problems, you have to draw the circuit first. When you draw the circuit, then we can have the idea. Here you see, two cells having same EMF, E1 is equal to E2 is equal to 10 volt, but internal resistance are different, 20 ohm and 5 ohm. Both are connected in series, and this combination is connected across the parallel combination of two resistances 30 ohm and R ohm. Okay, then what is the value of R? So that the potential difference between the two terminals of the cell is equal to 0. That means potential EMF is 10 volt, but potential difference between the two terminals of the cell is equal to 0. Okay, here you see, here the potential difference across this is V2, across this is V1. Suppose here as the two cells are in series, the current sent by the two cells sends the current in the same direction. As both are in series, same current will pass through the two cells, that is say I. This I current when reaches the junction divided into two parts, I1 and I2. I1 and I2. Okay, now at this you see what is the terminal voltage. Here current is flowing in this direction, means is the cell is charging or discharging? Current is flowing from low potential to high potential. That means if the current is flowing from low to high potential, cell is discharging. If the current is inside the cell, if the current is flowing from high potential to low potential, then cell is charging. But here current is flowing in this direction, means low to high, means cell is discharging. No, when the cell is discharging, what is the terminal voltage or potential difference between the two terminals of the cell? Here V1 is equal to, while discharging, E1 minus current I into current passing through this internal resistance I into internal resistance R1. Okay, so E1 means here this potential difference across the two terminals of the first cell having internal resistance 20 ohm must become 0. That is given. It is 0. You make them 0. Then E1 means 10 minus I into R1 means 20 is equal to 0. Therefore, I is equal to 1 by 2 ampere. No, the current passing through this one is 1 by 2 ampere. Okay, now what about this potential difference of this cell is not given. So in this case, what about the potential difference? Here also for the second cell also, for E1, this is the relation. For E2, here also as the cell is discharging, V2 is equal to E minus I into R2. I minus I into R2. E means E2 means 10 volt minus I means 1 by 2 into R2 means 5. So therefore 15 by 2, no, V2 is equal to 7.5 volt. Now we need what is the external resistance Kepler? That is the question. What is the external resistance Kepler? You see, at this junction, I is equal to, at this junction, I is equal to I1 plus I2, no? I means already we got 1 by 2 ampere. What about I1? Potential difference across this resistance. What is the potential difference across that resistance? Tell me. What is the potential difference across this resistance? Here V2 plus V1 is the potential difference across this one. No? From the diagram only, you see what is the potential difference across this. Suppose this is the point A, this is the point B. Then what is the potential difference across this? How you can write? Tell me. Potential difference across this is how much? Here potential difference is V2. Here potential difference is V1. V2 plus V1. So potential difference across AB is equal to V1 plus V2. V1 is 0 given. V2 we got 7.5. Therefore potential difference across this is 7.5. So as across this combination AB, these two resistances are connected. That's why potential difference across this both are same. That's why potential difference across this is AB. Potential difference across this resistance is also AB. VAB. VAB means 7.5 volt. This is equal to 7.5 volt now. So current through this resistance means potential difference across this 7.5 by resistance 30 plus potential difference across this resistance. I2 means this current now. So potential difference across this resistance 1.5 by resistance R. So what is R? If you simplify them, you will get answer. So when you simplify them, then you will get 30 ohm. So R is equal to 30 ohm. That is the answer. R is equal to 30 ohm. Okay. No doubt. Next. So 24th was completed. Next you see 8th problem. 8th problem. A galvanometer having coil resistance 100 ohm. A galvanometer having coil resistance 100 ohm gives full scale deflection current is equal to 1 milliampere. 1 milliampere. What is the value of resistance which can convert this galvanometer into voltmeter, giving a full scale deflection current, full scale deflection for a potential difference of V is equal to 10 volt. What is the resistance to be connected? Okay. Now all of you look at the board. All of you look at the board. Here, a galvanometer having a coil resistance of 100 ohm gives full scale deflection current 1 milliampere. Then what is the maximum potential difference that can be measured with the help of this galvanometer? IZ into Z. That means 1 milliampere into 100 means 10 to the power of minus 1 volts. 10 to the power of minus 1 volts means 0.1 volt. That is the maximum potential difference that can be measured. Because by means of this galvanometer, the maximum potential difference that can be measured with the help of galvanometer, maximum PD across galvanometer. Maximum potential difference across the galvanometer is equal to galvanometer current, maximum full scale deflection current or maximum current through galvanometer into galvanometer resistance G. IZ means 1 milliampere means 10 to the power of minus 3 ampere into Z means 100. Therefore, this is equal to 0.1 volt. It is the maximum potential difference that can be measured with the help of the galvanometer. But with the help of galvanometer, we have to measure the maximum potential difference of 10 volt, not this one. We have to measure the high voltage. With the help of the galvanometer to measure the large potential difference, we have to connect a very high resistance in series with the galvanometer. No, what is the resistance to be connected in series with the galvanometer? So when a high resistance is connected in series with the galvanometer, then that series resistance to be connected in series with the galvanometer, capital R is equal to, what is the formula? To increase the range of the voltmeter, R is equal to G of n minus 1. No? G of n means new voltage to be measured by new range by old range minus 1. G means galvanometer resistance is 100 ohm into new range of potential difference to be measured, that is equal to 10 volt. By old range, that means initially whatever the galvanometer given, by means of that maximum potential difference that can be measured is 0.1 volt minus 1. So therefore 100 into, it is 99 now, because 100 by 1 minus 1 means 99. Therefore the resistance to be connected in series is equal to 9900 ohm in series. So to convert the galvanometer into voltmeter to measure the large potential difference, we have to connect the high resistance in series with the galvanometer. Okay, high resistance in series with the galvanometer. No doubt. Yeah, 99 ohm, 9900 ohm. This is also equal to 9.9 kilo ohm. We can write now. So answer is given like this, 9.9 kilo ohm. That is the answer. Okay. Next. Okay, all of you see the next problem. Yeah, V is equal to Iz into R plus G. That is the formula. We can use that also. Okay, next. I think this 24th problem is completed now. This 24th problem is completed. Next, you see 15th problem. That model is very, very important. 15th problem is very, very important. All of you read the 15th problem. In the given circuit diagram, a wire is joining between the 2 points B and D. A wire is connected between the 2 points B and D. Then what is the current passing through B and D? That is the question they asked. Okay. I think you have seen the question. Now look at the board, all of you. You see. Next problem, option 1 is correct, no? Next problem, option 1 is correct. Akshit. Okay, here the EMF of the cell is given 20 volt and the resistance are given. What is the current passing through this one? They asked. Okay, here you see, suppose the cell supplies the I current. It is the main current. This main current, when reaches the junction, divide into two parts, through this and through this. Through this, the current is I1. Through this, current is I2. As these two are joined together like this, then these two can be imagined at the same point. That means the above diagram can be written like this also. As these 2 points are joined together, these two can be imagined at the same point like this. Like this, we can imagine the I current when reaches the junction divided into two parts. Divided into two parts, I1 and I2. This resistance is 1 ohm. This resistance is 4 ohm. Okay, these two here, this is the current passing through this part is this one. So here 2 ohm resistance is there. 2 ohm. Here it is 3 ohm. Okay, now here the current through this part, actually whenever the same current passing like this, then no, here whatever the current passing through this one, if the same current passing through this also, that is also I1, that is say I1 dash. If these two are equal, then we can say current through this resistance is, through this conductor is 0. Okay, here it is say I2 dash. Now you measure what is the current through this resistance and what is the current through this resistance. If both are equal, the same current will pass like this, means no current passing through this one. No current travel in this direction or in this direction. Suppose initially the current through this resistance is say 2 ampere. Here current is 1.5. That means a 0.5 current is less now. That 0.5 current will be travel in this direction. Suppose here 2.5. It is 2 and it is 2.5. Definitely 1 ampere current, 0.5 ampere current is more. That's why that is 0.5 ampere current passing like this and added together. Added with this one, so that total current becomes 2.5. In that way, we have to check. So that's why, first of all, we have to find what is the current through this resistance and this resistance we have to find. For that, what we have to do? You see, as these two resistance are connected by means of a conducting wire link like this, then these two are parallel, these two are parallel. Okay, what is the effective of this effective resistance for this? Effective resistance is say R1. R1 is equal to how much? 1 into here, whenever two resistors are connected in parallel, effective resistance is R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. R1 R2 means 1 into 4 by 1 plus 4, that is equal to 4 by 5. Okay, for this effective resistance is say R2. R2 is equal to 2 into 3 by 2 plus 3. 2 into 3 means 6 by 2 plus 3 means 5. Okay, 6 by 5 ohms. Now this R1 R2 both are in series. Both are in series across the cell having EMF 20 volt. Then what is the net current passing? Net current passing I is equal to total EMF by total resistance R1 plus R2. Because in this combination there are two resistances in series in this circuit. So E by total resistance in the circuit is equal to R1 plus R2, because this combination both are in series like this. Okay, now E means 20 by R1 plus R2 means 4 by 5 plus 6 by 5. 4 by 5 plus 6 by 5. So this is equal to 20 into 5 by 10 we can write. So this is equal to 10 ampere. So total current is 10 ampere. Such 10 ampere current is divided into two parts now here. This 10 ampere current when reaches the junction divided into two parts which are connected in parallel. So as these two are parallel, so now you see this is the point A, this is point B, it is C say. Now across AB, between A and B you take. As these two resistance are in parallel, then potential difference across this resistance both are same. That's why according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. V is constant across the two resistances. Then I is inversely proportional to R no. Therefore current through this one is I1. I1 by I2 is equal to R2 by R1. I1 R1, I2 R2. I1 by I2 is equal to R2 by R1 no. This implies I1 by I2 is equal to R2 by R1. Of course this R1 R2 are not this. R1 are not this one. These are R1 R2 now for this. Okay, for this A and B only. That means across A and B, across this only. Across A and B means in between these two only. This is R1, this is R2. Okay. Now R2 by R1 means 4 by 1. So 4 by 1, that is equal to 4. Therefore I1 is to I2 is equal to 4 is to 1. What about I1? You see, I1 is equal to, actually total current is this one. It is divided into two parts I1 and I2 which are in the ratio 4 is to 1. So I1 is equal to, in the total current, 4 parts of the total current passing through this resistance R1. That's why 4 by total parts, 4 plus 1, 5 into total current I. 4 by 5 into I means already we got here 10. So this is equal to 8 ampere no. When it is 8 ampere, definitely I2 is equal to, this total current is 10 ampere we got already. Total current is 10, in which 8 ampere passing through this one. Definitely remaining current will pass through this one now. That's why I2 is equal to 10 minus 8. That is equal to 2 ampere current passes. Similarly, here these two currents I1, I2 combine together and becomes I again. And again here it is divided into two parts. So what is the I1 dash we have to find? If you know I1 dash, if you know this I1 dash, then what is the current passing through this connecting wire we can say. That's why I1 dash we have to find. Already in Wheatstone bridge circuit we have this concept also. What is the potential difference between these 2 points? In such case we have done this method. బ్రిడ్జ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ కానప్పుడు ఈ రెండు పాయింట్స్ మధ్య పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఎంత? ఇది వీస్టన్ బ్రిడ్జ్ సర్క్యూట్ లో ఉందనుకోండి, ఇట్లా ఉన్న రెసిస్టెన్స్ ఇట్లా ఇచ్చాడు, వీస్టన్ బ్రిడ్జే కదా, అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇది వీస్టన్ బ్రిడ్జే. ఓకే, సో ఈ రెండు పాయింట్స్ మధ్య పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఎంత అని అడగచ్చు. అటువంటి ప్రాబ్లం ఆల్రెడీ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ లోనే మేము డిస్కస్ చేసాం, అది చూసుకోండి ఒకసారి, ఆ పాయింట్ కూడా ఇంపార్టెంటే. ఓకే, నౌ హియర్ I1 dash we have to find for B and C, across B and C, across B and C. Here also, as these two resistances are in parallel, potential difference across those two resistances is same. That's why I is inversely proportional to R. Therefore, I1 dash by I2 dash is equal to R2 by R1. Here also, R2 means this one, R1 means this one. This one means this resistance, 3 ohm by 2. Okay, therefore I1 dash is to I2 dash is equal to 3 is to 2. So I1 current we need, because we know I1. If you know I1 dash, what is the current through this wire we can find. So I1 dash is equal to 3 by total part 3 plus 2, 5 into total current. Total current reaches the junction here is I. This is equal to 3 by 5 into I means 10, so 6 amperes. Therefore I1 dash 6 ampere. I1 is equal to, we got 8 amperes. I1 is equal to 8 amperes. Whenever it reaches the junction here, I1 is equal to 8 amperes we got. I1 dash is equal to 6 amperes we got. That means 2 ampere current plus that 2 ampere current will pass through this one. So IBD or I dash is equal to 2 ampere. So 2 ampere is the answer. Therefore, I dash or IBD current through BD wire is equal to I1 minus I1 dash, that is equal to 8 minus 6, that is equal to 2 ampere. So IBD is equal to 2 ampere. This is the answer. Okay. Okay. It is very, very important approach. It is important for even advanced also. Okay. Yeah, option 1 is correct. Next, Wheatstone bridge circuit is given. I will upload this video so that you can revise. Yesterday also I uploaded. At the beginning, 2-3 problems are not recorded because of power cuts. Okay. Already this video is recording, so I will upload in YouTube. If you are having doubt, you can see again. Okay. Next one. Problem number 13, you see, all of you see the problem number 13. Of course, actually, it may be asked in semiconductors or it may be asked in current electricity also, because it is interlinked. Multi-concept problem. All of you see that problem? All of you see 13th problem. Okay. Okay, the current I in the network, they asked. The current I in the network. Okay, all of you look at the board now. Yeah, very good, Rakesh. Rohit from I think from Orissa. Am I right? Rohit from Orissa. Am I right, Rohit? Okay, so you see here, positive terminal is connected to this junction and negative terminal is connected to this junction. As positive terminal is connected here, this N region of the PN junction diode is reverse bias because high potential is connected to N region. That's why it is in reverse bias. When it is in reverse bias, no current passing through them because these diodes are ideal. In reverse bias, they offer the infinite resistance. That's why no current passing through the circuit. Hence, this can be ignored. This part can be ignored. Next, N is negative terminal is connected to this junction, and that is connected to the P region of the diode through this resistance. That means P region is given negative potential. When P region is given negative potential, it is also in reverse bias. So this also having infinite resistance. So as in the series combination, as infinite resistance is there, it is also no current passing through this part. That's why we can ignore this part also. Now the current sent by this cell, passing along this path only, no? Along this path, just along this path only current passes. So along this path, what is the current passes? That is the question they asked. Along this path current passes. So what is the current passing along this path? That is the question they asked. Okay, along the direction of flow of current, what is the total resistance? Net resistance applied voltage by net resistance. Applied voltage is 9 volt by total resistance in the circuit along which current passes. Here you see 5 ohm, 10 ohm, and here what is the resistance here? What is the resistance at this point? It is also 5 ohm. Here, this is also 5 ohm. So here, this is 5, 10, 5, 10. That's all. So effective resistance means 5 plus 10 plus 5 plus 10. All are in series along this path. That's why the total resistance is this one. So I is equal to 9 by 30, no? That is equal to 0.3 ampere. 0.3 ampere is the current. So I is equal to 0.3 ampere. It is the current passing through the circuit, or the main current passing through the circuit. Here I is given here. What is that current they asked? So what is the current passing through network? What is the current passing through network or main current passing through the circuit means that is the current passing through cell. That is the question they asked. So I is equal to 0.3 amperes. Okay. King Kohli. Okay. I did not find that King Kohli student in the class, but newcomers are there in this. Right. Next problem you see. Okay, all these are over. Okay, now 23rd problem you see in next page. 23rd problem, all of you see. Third problem. In a meter bridge experiment, S is a standard resistance. Okay. In a meter bridge experiment. Okay, the meter bridge is given like this. Okay. Here you see, in the meter bridge experiment, S is the standard resistance, R is the resistance of the wire. It is found that the balance length is 25 centimeter when capital resistance of the wire is connected in the left gap. If R is replaced by a wire of half the length and half the diameter that of the R of same material, then the balancing length is dash. Okay. In first case, whenever the balance length is L, resistance in the left gap is R1 is equal to R and right gap resistance is S. Okay. Whenever in the right gap, if R is replaced by, if R is replaced by a wire of half the length, okay, here actually R1 means this is equal to R1 is equal to R. Okay. Next, what is the balancing length L dash? Whenever the resistance in the left gap, that means instead of this wire R, it is replaced by another wire. It is replaced by another wire whose length is half this wire. Suppose the resistance of this wire is imagined as R. So R is equal to rho into L by area of cross section. We can write now. That is equal to rho L by area of cross section means pi R square. Okay. Here, in next case, whenever it is replaced by another wire having half the length and half the diameter, length and diameter both are changed, but there is no change in the material. That's why these two are constants. That's why resistance of the wire is directly proportional to L by R square. There are two cases. In first case, resistance of the wire is R1. In the second case, R2. This is equal to, that is proportional to, R is proportional to L by R square. R1 by R2 is equal to L1 by L2 into R2 by R1 whole square. In first case, length of the wire is L, say. In second case, length of the wire is half the length, that means L by 2, into diameter, radius, ratio between the radii or ratio between the diameter, both are same. Here the diameter of the wire, half the diameter of the same material, half the diameter of the previous wire. That means if initial wire is having diameter R1 or radius R1, then it becomes half. That means R2 is equal to R1 by 2. Whole square is there. That is equal to 2 into 1 by 4 you will get now. So 1 by 2. Therefore, R1 by R2 is equal to 1 by 2. R1 is imagined as R by R2. is equal to 1 by 2 implies R2 is equal to 2R. That means whenever R2 is equal to 2R, in the right gap resistance, there is no change the resistance in the box. That is S only. Then what is the balance length they ask? Okay. Here you see resistance R2. Here L is balance length is L in first case. Resistance is a R. Resistance in the right gap is S. Next case, what is the balance length when resistance in the left gap is equal to 2R and resistance in the right gap is same. Okay. Already we know resistance in the left gap R by opposite balancing length L is equal to resistance in the right gap by opposite balance length means 100 minus L. This is the question. Okay, now here okay, in first case resistance is R1 by balance length is L1 is equal to resistance in the right gap is S by balance length 100 minus L1. In next case resistance in the left gap is R2 by balance length L1, sorry, it is L given. Next it is L dash is equal to resistance in the right gap by 100 minus L dash. Now you divide these two equations. Therefore, R1 by R2 into L dash by L is equal to 100 minus L dash by 100 minus L. R1 by R2 means already you see R1 by R2 is equal to R1 is equal to R by R2 is equal to 2R into L dash by L is equal to 100 minus L dash by 100 minus L. Here RR cancel. Okay, do cross multiplication. L dash into 100 minus L is equal to 2L into 100. That means 200L minus 2 into LL dash. 2 into LL dash. Okay, therefore, in first case balancing length is, okay, in first case balance length is given 25 centimeter. Okay. In first case balance length is given 25 centimeter. L is equal to 25 centimeter. Okay. So L dash into 100 minus 25 is equal to 200 into 25 minus 2 into 25 into L dash. Therefore, L dash 75 L dash is equal to here 5000 minus 50 L dash. Therefore, 125 L dash is equal to 125 L dash is equal to 5000 because we have substituted total length in centimeter only, L in centimeter. That's why you will get L dash also in centimeter only. You will get L dash also in centimeter only. So you'll get L dash also in centimeter. So L dash is equal to 5000 by 125. 125 fours are 500 now. That means 40. So L dash is equal to 40 centimeter. L dash is equal to, yeah, L dash is equal to 40 centimeter. That is the answer. Therefore, L dash is equal to 0.0040.00 centimeter. So this is the answer. I think it is the direct problem only. Okay. Next. Based on the color coding problem is given. Next problem. Okay. Shall I read this one? Okay. Are you followed? Right. You see the next problem. Problem number 66. You see problem number 66. All of you see problem number 66. Already, okay, not displayed, no? Okay. Problem number 66, all of you see. Right. Problem number 66. A 200 ohm resistor has a certain color code. If one replaces by the red color by green in the code, the new resistance will be dash. Okay, good problem. 2 times we have to apply the color coding. And Thanush, stop your video sharing. Right. Here in first case, resistance is equal to 200 ohm. If one replaces the red color by green in the code, whatever the new resistance? Okay, you see, to obtain this resistance, what is the color coding we require? What is the color coding we require? Already we know in case of color coding, B.B. Roy of Great Britain has very good wife. Okay, next, silver, gold, no color. So B means black. Now first you will get black. Okay, next brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Okay, next violet. Here it is gray. Already green has come now. So gray, white, silver, gold, this one. Here first this color 0 digit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For silver, of course, color coding is not there. Next multiplier or powers of multiplier means powers of 10. Multiplier 10 to the power of 0. Power here 1 is there now. For brown, it is code is 1. That means 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 4, 10 to the power of 5, 10 to the power of 6, 10 to the power of 7, 10 to the power of 8, 10 to the power of 9. And last one is tolerance. Suppose if the fourth color, for fourth color band, you will get the tolerance. If fourth color band is black, it has no tolerance. For if brown is given, 10 to the power of 1 is the tolerance. That means, sorry, this 1% is the tolerance. 1% is the tolerance. For red, 2% is the tolerance. Like that, silver, for silver, tolerance is 10%. For silver, tolerance is 10%. For gold, 5%. For no color, 20%. Generally, it is the color coding we know. It is the color coding we know. Yeah. B.B. Roy is having really a good wife, sir. He is so lucky, like you. Okay. Right. Near future, you too get, no problem. Right. You see, to obtain this 200 ohm, what is the color coding on the resistor? First, you tell me. Here, first 2 digit is there. To obtain the 2 digit, definitely number 2 means that is red, no? So first coloring or colored band is red. This first number represents the color band, that is red. Next you will get 0. Actually here this can be written as 20 into 10 to the power of 1 means 200 only, no? So next first digit is 2. First digit is 2. That's why red is there. Next second digit is 0. 0 means black. Black. Okay, next third one represents the multiplier. Multiplier means powers of 10. 10 to the power of 1 means brown. So here it is brown. Already with these 3 colored bands, it is over. There is no fourth colored band. There is no fourth colored band. Okay. Right. Now, this is the code given to obtain. If one replaces the red color by green, red now for new resistance, for new resistor, red is replaced by green. So green, black, sorry, here it is green, you write clearly. Green, black, and brown. Now what is the resistance for this? R dash is equal to how much? Green means, for green it is 5, black means 0, into brown means power of 10, that means 10 to the power of 1. That is equal to 500 ohm, no? 500 ohm only. Okay, answer is given like this only. If any tolerance is also given, if you are not getting this answer, then plus or minus tolerance we have to write. But by this only we are getting answer. That's why this is only. So this is the answer. Next problem, 67 is also same. 67 is also like this only. All of you look at the problem. All of you see that problem. 67th problem you see. A resistance is shown in the figure with different colored bands. A carbon resistor is represented with different colored bands as in the diagram. You see the diagram. 4 colored bands or colored rings are given. Red, violet, orange, silver. Here, okay, this is given. Then what is the resistance? With percentage is also given. Percentage means that is the tolerance, and the tolerance is also given. Okay, now all of you look at the board. You see here carbon resistor is given. First colored band is red, next violet, orange, silver. In this way it is given. What is the resistance with tolerance also he asked. First red means, what is the resistance here? First red means, red color means 2. Next violet, for violet 7. Next third colored band represents multiplier, means powers of 10. That is orange. Orange means 10 to the power of 3. That's why 10 to the power of 3. Okay, this is the resistance. Here, this is resistance ohms. Next tolerance. Tolerance. The last colored band represents tolerance. No, what is the percentage of tolerance? Silver. For silver, 10% is there. That's why tolerance is 10%. Tolerance 10% means in the total resistance here, 10% of resistance is more or less based on the atmospheric temperature at that time. Okay, that's why plus or minus 10% we have to write. That is the total resistance. So this is the resistance and it is the tolerance. This can be written as 27 kilo ohm, no? Because 10 to the power of 3 means kilo ohm. That's why 27 kilo ohm and 10% tolerance. This is the answer. Okay, next problem. You see 68th problem. 68 problem number. All of you read the 68th problem. Based on the drift velocity concept, I think it is given. Okay. Now, all of you look at the board. Okay. Drift speed, 68th problem. Drift speed of electron when 1.5 ampere current flows in a copper wire. The current passing through copper wire is given as 1.5 ampere. Drift speed of the electron when 1.5 ampere current flows in a copper wire of area of cross section 5 millimeter square is capital V. That means drift speed is given as V. If the electron density of copper is something per meter cube, that means number of electrons per unit volume, that is the density of the free electrons, that is represented with small n, which is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 28 per meter cube. Number of electrons per unit volume is the concentration of free electrons inside the conductor, that is n, that is given directly. Okay, now charge of electron is given. E is equal to, charge of electron is equal to in magnitude 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Then what is the value of drift velocity of the electron in millimeter per second? In millimeter per second they asked. What is the relation among them? Current I is equal to NEA into VD, no? So from this VD is equal to V, that we have to find I by NEA. Now you substitute the data. I means, while substituting here, you substitute in SI system. 1.5 by N means 9 into 10 to the power of 8. into charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 into area of cross section that is given in millimeter square. So 5 into 10, you see 1 millimeter means 10 to the power of minus 3 meters. Square is there, means 10 to the power of minus 6 meter square. Okay. Now, if you simplify them, drift velocity, you will get drift velocity is equal to, actually you will get drift velocity after simplification, you will get 0.02 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter per second. You will get drift velocity is equal to 0.02 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter per second. You will get, but answer is given in millimeter per second. So 0.02 here, 10 to the power of minus 3 means millimeter. So millimeter per second. This is the answer. So after simplification, approximately you will get this answer. This is the drift speed of the electron. Okay. Yeah, I is equal to NeAVD, right? Next problem. Next is 69th problem, you see. 69th problem. A copper wire is touched to make 0.5% longer. The percentage change in the resistance if the volume remains constant. Okay, when the given wire is touched, okay, it is already in note points only, I said the concept also. So here, whenever the given wire is touched or compressed so that the volume remains constant, then resistance is directly proportional to length square, no? When the given wire is touched or compressed, touched means length is increased. In such a way, it is elongated. Compressed, that means length decreases, but volume of the wire remains constant. In such case, R is proportional to L square. Okay, R I will explain in detail. Resistance R is equal to rho into L by area of cross section. No? When the wire is touched so that its length increased by so and so percentage, that means percentage change in length is given. Length information is given. Area of cross section information is not there. That's why you multiply with L and divide with L. It makes no difference, no? So this is equal to rho L square by area of cross section to length of the wire gives volume, no? Here the given wire is touched so that volume remains constant. So V remains constant. Already resistivity remains constant. So in this case, resistance is directly proportional to length square, no? As the percentage change in the length of the wire is small, 0.5%. That's why approximate value we can take. That means delta R by R power 1 into delta R by R is equal to 2 into delta L by L. So this is equal to 2 into delta L by L into 100 you write. Here also you write into 100. Delta R by R into 100. Because percentage change the resistance they asked in the problem. So 2 into delta L by L into 100 means percentage change in the length is given as 0.5% in the problem. Since delta L by L into 100 is equal to 0.5% given. Therefore, percentage change in the resistance delta R by R into 100 is equal to 1%, no? So percentage change in the resistance is 1% when the given wire is touched so that its length increases by 0.5%. Okay? Yeah, option C correct. Next. 70th problem. Okay, next you see next problem. All of you see the next problem. You see 70th problem. A wire of resistance capital R is bent to form a square ABCD. Square ABCD. All lengths are same, all sides are same. That's why resistance, the total resistance R is divided into 4 equal parts. No, it is R by 4, it is R by 4, it is R by 4, and this total resistance is R by 4. Okay. Now the effective resistance between E and C is E is the midpoint of CD. Whenever E is the midpoint of CD, then this total resistance CD in between C and D, total resistance is R by 4. As it is midpoint, then this resistance is half of this one, this resistance is half of this one. Half of this one means it is R by 8, this is R by 8. Now what is the effective resistance between this A and C? REC is equal to question mark. Okay, between E and C. Between E and C, already exists resistance existing resistance R by 8 is there. Okay, then in between E and C, this resistance R by 8 is there. Next, this resistance is also there, no? This is R by 8 plus R by 4 plus R by 4 plus R by 4. Here R by 4 plus R by 4 plus R by 4 means 3R by 4 plus R by 8. So this resistance is 3R by 4 plus R by 8. That is equal to, here when you simplify them, you will get 8 is the LCM, then 7R by 8 you will get. This is say R1, this is say R2. R1, R2 are in parallel. Effective resistance between E and C is equal to, in between E and C, R1, R2 are parallel. Effective resistance means R1, R2 by R1 plus R2, no? Then you simplify them. I think you will get, answer is, what is the answer you will get? Okay. So if you simplify them, you will get 7R by 64. 7R by 64 you will get if you simplify them. 7R by 64 you will get. You see here, the given distance, the wire having distance capital R is bent in the form of a square like this, so that each and every side is having distance R by 4, R by 4, R by 4. Now it is the midpoint of this side. That's why this part is having distance. This total is R by 4. This part, as it is midpoint, this part is having distance R by 4 by 2. Means R by 8. This is also R by 8. Now in between E and C, what is the resistance they asked? Between E and C, here this resistance R by 8 is there. This resistance is also there, no? Between E and C. This resistance means R by 8 plus R by 4 plus R by 4 plus R by 4. All are in series. Then you add. Then you will get 7R by 8. Now in between E and C, this R1 is called 7R by 8. R2 is called R by 8. Both are in parallel. What is the effective resistance? REC. Effective resistance between E and C is equal to, this is the formula. You substitute. Then you simplify them. Then you will get 7R by 64. Okay. Next. Next you see, here in the next problem, a cell C. Here above that line, one more line is there. You see 76 here. Here you see 76. Here only problem is there. Actually, below these two lines, this problem will be there. Okay. So a potentiometer wire AB. So you read that problem. 76. Okay. Problem number 76. All of you read the problem number 76. Right. Okay. Here a potentiometer wire AB having length L and resistance 12 ohm. A potentiometer wire AB having length L. Potentiometer wire having length L and resistance 12 R. Resistance of the potentiometer wire is equal to 12 small r. Okay, is joined to a cell D of EMF. It is the cell D of EMF. EMF is equal to capital E and internal resistance small r. A cell C having EMF E by 2 and internal resistance 3R is connected. The length AJ at which the galvanometer is shown in figure show no deflection. Okay, this is the problem given. So all of you look at the board now. You see, a cell is connected with the potentiometer wire. This cell having EMF E and internal resistance small r. Okay, here the length of the potentiometer wire is capital L and resistance of the potentiometer wire is 12 R. Now in the secondary circuit, a cell of EMF E by 2 internal resistance 3 are connected through Jackie. Then what is the balancing length small l? Answer is given in terms of capital L. Answer is given in terms of capital L. How we can find this? Here you see, first of all, when this jack is not here, then only this is the closed circuit. In this closed circuit, what is the potential drop across the potentiometer wire? Potential drop across the potentiometer wire is equal to current passing through this one, I. The current passing through this potentiometer wire is say I. Then I by total resistance in the circuit. Total resistance in this circuit means internal resistance R is there plus resistance of the potentiometer wire is Rp. That is equal to I by V is equal to, sorry, V is equal to okay. Potential drop across the potentiometer wire is equal to current passing through potentiometer wire into resistance of the potential, resistance of the potentiometer wire. Current passing through potentiometer wire means that is the current passing through entire circuit only. That is equal to total EMF in the circuit E by total resistance in the circuit means Rp plus small r. It is I. Okay, into resistance of the potentiometer wire Rp. So E by Rp means 12R given plus small r only. This is R only. Into Rp means 12R. This is the potential drop across the potentiometer wire. This is equal to 12E by 13. Okay, 12E by 13. That is the potential drop across the potentiometer wire. 12E by 13. 12E by 13. This is the potential drop across the potentiometer wire. Then what is the potential gradient? Potential gradient. So potential gradient rho is equal to potential drop across the potentiometer wire by balancing length. Sorry, total length of the potentiometer wire. Because it is the potential drop across the potentiometer wire of length capital L. Then what is the potential drop per unit length of the potentiometer wire means Vp by L. Vp means this one, 12E by 13 by L. So this is the potential gradient. Now what is the balance length they asked? Okay, here across the balance length, what is the potential drop? Across the balance length, what is the potential drop means balance length is say L. Then potential drop across the balance length is equal to potential gradient means potential drop per unit length into length of balancing length. Potential drop per unit length rho into balancing length. Potential drop per unit length is called rho into balance length L. This is the potential difference across its balance length. That is equal to potential difference across the two terminals of the cell. No, here across the cell no resistance is connected in parallel. It is the internal resistance only, not external resistance connected in parallel. That's why whenever no current passing through them between the two terminals of the cell, the potential difference is same as EMF. That's why potential drop per unit length into balance length is equal to potential difference between the two terminals of the cell. That is equal to EMF of the cell only. That means E by 2. Okay, this is equal to, here they asked what is the balancing length L they asked. So L is equal to E by 2 rho. That is equal to E by 2 into rho means 12E by 13L. E cancel. Okay, therefore L is equal to 13 by 24 into capital. 13 by 24 into capital. Yeah, that is the answer. So this is the balancing length. This is the balancing length. So it is also important model. From the fundamental concept, they asked the question. So it is also important one. General ga, EMF in the secondary circuit is directly proportional to balancing length. E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. ఆ టైప్ లో ఇస్తా ఉంటాడు, కానీ ఇది ఫండమెంటల్ కాన్సెప్ట్ బేస్ చేసుకుని ఇచ్చాడు. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో ఇంపార్టెంట్ మోడల్. Okay, next problem you see. Okay, next here. Okay, next you see 71, problem number 71. 71 you see. Problem number 71. A uniform metallic wire has a resistance of 18 ohm and is bent in the form of a triangle. Then the resistance between any two vertices of triangle. So a uniform wire is bent in the form of a triangle. A uniform wire of resistance R is equal to 18 ohm that is bent in the form of a triangle. Then what is the effective resistance between any two vertices of the triangle? Okay, it's suppose it is, I think, easy problem. Total resistance of the wire is 18 ohm. That is bent in the form of a equilateral triangle like this. That's why all sides are equal. That's why this resistance is divided into 3 equal parts now. Now this resistance is 6 ohm. This is 6 ohm. This is 6 ohm. Totally 18 ohms. Now what is the effective resistance between any two vertices? Means you take these two corners. Across this, what is the effective resistance? RAB is equal to question mark. So in between between A and B, these two are in series. That's why effective resistance 12. In between A and B, these two are in series, so effective resistance is 12, and this is 6 ohm. Both are parallel, no? So whenever these two are parallel, effective resistance is R1 into R2 by R1 plus R2. That means 12 into 6 by 12 plus 6. It is 18. 6 3s are 3 4s are. Therefore, RAB is equal to 4 ohm. This is the effective resistance between A and B. Yeah, first option is the answer. Because these two are in series means when you supply I current, this I current will pass through this resistance also, because there is no junction here. Okay, that's why these two are said to be in series. What is 73, Rohit? What is 73? Rohit, what is 73 you have written in chat box? What is 73? Okay, I will go to next problem. Next is 72, you see. 72 is somewhat, approach is important. I think this is also, okay, this is also easy problem, I think. But seems to be difficult, but it is also easy problem. All of you read that next problem, 72. Now, problem number 72. Okay, problem number 72, you see. Okay, all of you look at the board. Here, the 3 cells are connected like this. For the circuit shown with resistance R1 is equal to, this is R1, that resistance R1 is equal to 10 ohm. Of course, this is also R1, that is also equal to 10 ohm. This is R1, that is also equal to 10 ohm. This is R2, that is equal to 2 ohm. And EMF of the cell, E1 is equal to 2 volt, E2 is equal to 4 volt, and E3 is equal to 4 volt. In this way, it is given. Then the potential difference between the points A and B. This is the point A, this is the point B. In between A and B, what is the potential difference they asked? Okay, just you reverse this diagram and you imagine this is identical to, just I am drawing A and B points are here. This is A, this is B. Between A and B, this resistance and only one cell is there. The resistance and one cell. The negative terminal is connected to B. That's why here positive terminal, here negative terminal. Here E2 is equal to 4. Okay. Here this can be imagined as the internal resistance R2 is equal to 2 ohm. This is drawn already. Next here, you see this resistance and this resistance both are in series now. That's why we can imagine the effective resistance in this in between A and B along this path is equal to this plus this. That means 20 ohm. So we take 20 ohm resistance here, and positive terminal is connected to A region. So positive terminal you take here connected to A region and negative terminal to B. So here this EMF E3 is equal to 4 volt. Similarly, this side here in between A and B in this side, this resistance R1 only there. Okay. Now only resistance R1. R1 is equal to 10 ohm. And positive negative terminal is connected to B. Positive terminal is to A through R1. So positive terminal and negative terminal. Negative terminal is connected to B. Here the EMF of this cell is equal to 2 ohm. Suppose I redraw this diagram like this. So it is the equivalent circuit of this one. If you see like this, all cells are in parallel now. Their like terminals are connected together. That means all cells are in parallel. Whenever all are in parallel, then what is the effective EMF across this circuit? That is the potential difference across the A and B. What is the formula for effective EMF? What is MSR? What is your doubt? Which is 1 ohm? No, it is 10 ohm, not 1 ohm, 10 ohm. That is 10 ohm only, not 1 ohm. Okay, 1 ohm, 1 ohm, 2 ohm like this. Okay, right. 1 ohm. Right, all are 1 ohm, 2 ohm like that. Okay, not 10 ohm. Very good. Here it is 1 ohm. It is also 1 ohm. It is 1 ohm. It is 2 ohm. Okay. It is 2 ohm. What about this resistance? It is also equal to 1 ohm. R1 is equal to 1 ohm. So here it becomes 2 no. Now in this circuit, effective resistance is 2 ohm. So you write 2 ohm here. It is 2 ohm. Okay, it is already 2 ohm. This is not 20, 1 plus 1, 2 ohm. The diagram is like this. Okay. Now, what is the effective potential difference between these two? Means effective resistance. No external resistance is connected. So effective EMF they asked. Already we are having formula effective EMF or net EMF is equal to sigma E by R by sigma 1 by R for effective EMF. Already we discussed in the concepts. Okay, then this is equal to, suppose if you are not having idea, then you see here you take as the EMF of this cell is more, then it is say I1, this is say I2. I1, I2 combine together and it convert into say I. Then you apply the Kirchhoff's laws for this loop, for this loop, for this loop, and you solve them. You will get answer. If you are having this idea, then you can do directly. Sigma E by R means E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 plus E3 by R3 whole by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. That is equal to E net. Net EMF between A and B, EAB is equal to E1 by R1. E1 by R1 means 2 by 2. 2 by 2 plus E2 by R2, 4 by 2 plus E3 by R3, 4 by 2 by 1 by R1 means 1 by 2 plus 1 by R2 means 1 by 2 plus 1 by R3 means 1 by 2. Therefore, this is equal to, here you see 10 by 2 means 5 by 3 by 2, that is equal to 10 by 3. Therefore, potential difference between A and B is equal to 3.33 volts. So potential difference between A and B is equal to 3.3 is given. So 3.3 is answer. In this way you have to do. Otherwise, one more method I said, as this EMF and this EMF is greater than this one, then it sends the I3 current, this sends the I2 current, this I3 and I2 combine together and it is converted into I2 plus I3. Now you apply the Kirchhoff's law for this loop, and for this entire loop. Then you will get three equations. And three unknowns are there. If you find I1, I2, I3, then if you know I2, then that is equal to between these two. If you know I2, then you apply the Kirchhoff's second law for this B to A or A to B. Then you find the potential difference between these two. Then you will get 10 by 3. That means 3.3 you will get. Okay, yeah, 3.3 you will get. Here, in this case, 3 cells are connected in parallel like this. That's why the effective EMF is this one. Directly we can do. If you are not having idea, then as the EMFs of these two cells are more, then it sends the current I3, say, because EMF is E3. This sends the current I2. This I2, I3 both reaches the junction here, combine together, and it is converted into I. That is equal to I2 plus I3, passing through this EMF 2. Okay, now you apply the Kirchhoff's law, second law for this, and for this entire loop. You will get three equations in terms of I1, I2, I3. Then you solve, of course, I2, I3. Then you solve them. Then you will get I2, I3, I. Of course, we have to find I2. That is enough. If you know I2, then between A and B, you apply the Kirchhoff's second law again for this branch of the closed circuit, and you find what is the potential difference between these two. Here, when you apply the Kirchhoff's second law for this loop, VB minus VB plus 4 minus I2 into R2 is equal to VA. Then VB minus VA or VA minus VB is equal to question mark. Then we can find. That is the way we can find the EMF of this cell. Okay. Next. Okay, I think you followed this one. Okay, next problem you see. Oh, time is 45. Okay. Right. So important problems are over. Okay, remaining problems you do. Okay, if you are having any doubt, you keep in WhatsApp, I will respond. Okay. Okay, now thank you all and all. Anyhow, all of you again, advance greetings to you on your success in IPE. Okay, right. Enjoy today. Right, Anna. Bye.